You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
In a world filled with cigars, craft beer, comics, movies, and video games,
only two men are brave enough to search out all things nerdy.
It's the Cigar Nerds Podcast!
And welcome to the Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm your co-host, Brad Jackson.
What are you vaping this week, Brad? Since we didn't stop to get a cigar all the way.
I don't even know what this is. Some kind of blue raz batch. An interesting one that I picked up since you brought it up. So I guess Mountain Dew is partnered with one of the vape companies. So they've got Mountain Dew, but then they just came out with a Code Red version. And I'm like, holy shit, this legit tastes just like the fucking Code Red Mountain Dew drink.
Hell, they got like alcoholic Mountain Dew now. I haven't tried any of that shit because
I haven't tried any of the hard Mountain Dews yet.
Too much sugar for me. I haven't tried it. Well, I'm smoking the. We're going full America. It's the CAO America 250th edition for the America's 250 coming up here in July. This is, which we don't use this term often, an American Puro. All the tobacco is American. It's got a U.S. broadleaf wrapper combined with a U.S. Connecticut shade wrapper, so it's got this little barber pole action, as you can see. U.S. Havana, Connecticut binder and filler of U.S. broadleaf and Pennsylvania tobaccos. America!
Fuck yeah.
Speaking of which, you talk about Mountain Dew. I saw a video, and it was like when your Mexican friend tries the White Monster for the first time. And it was like these two guys hanging out in the garage, like a white guy and a Mexican dude. And he's like, man, I'm thirsty. You got anything to drink? He's like, all I got's the White Monster. And he's like, what does that taste like? He's like, you tell me. And dude takes like a big swig. And he's like, it tastes like fucking freedom. And the next thing you know, he's got like a plate carrier and like nods and a rifle. He's waving an American flag.
That sounds awesome. I guess I too should get a White Monster. That would be a great stage name. And welcome to the stage, White Monster.
Well, we had whatever White Zombie back in the day. It's like it's your Rob Zombie cover band, White Monster. But we're kind of going back in time, sort of this episode.
Are we? I don't know.
We're talking about something new that's based on something from the 80s. We're talking Masters of the Universe. The new live-action version of He-Man. And if you've got to fight off Skeletor, you should call in Strikeforce, StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use a promo code CigarNerds for 20% off your order. You have the power. He-Man.
Yeah, like, well, I guess we'll have to get into that in the main segment, but, you know.
So with that, I guess we'll be right back with He-Man and the Masturbators of the Universe.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, by the power of Grayskull, Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe.
And we're back. It's time to visit Eternia, go chill at Grayskull, and talk about Masters of the Universe. Before we get into it, I'm a wee bit older than you, so I grew up on like the OG,
correct,
80s He-Man. What did you think of the movie not being as familiar with the source material?
Well, I mean, you know, like, for all intent and purposes, I was, you know, the 90s were really where I got introduced to He-Man. But, you know, because of where I grew up and how I grew up, like, I got a lot of my older friends' hand-me-downs and stuff. So, you know, when He-Man was the heyday of Mattel and everything else, like, I got, you know, the Castle Grayskull structure. I got, you know, the figurines and stuff like that, you know, my friends had, you know, since become 10 or 11 and like, oh, no, I'm too cool to play with these. So, you know, I would get, like, their older shit, you know, handed down to me. And
people talk about Barbie giving girls unrealistic body images. Like, fucking He-Man, like, every character was, like, jacked.
Yes.
It's like, how about unrealistic body images?
But, you know, so I call it He-Man, you know, but back in the 90s, right? Like, there were a lot of reruns of those 80s shows, right? So maybe I didn't catch it at its inception. But 6-7 years down the line...
Yeah, especially in the early days of, like, Cartoon Network and stuff like that, where they were, like, trying to fill a 24-hour time slot, you would see the He-Man and G.I. Joe
and that was kind of
reruns.
You know, a thing, too, would be like, oh, yeah, there's this new thing getting ready to come out. So a couple of months prior to that, like, a lot of your TV networks would be like, we're going to replay all the old shit, that way it's fresh in your head for the new shit. And I'm like, that's brilliant. I love that. So
yeah, and like, I haven't seen, there probably is a channel, but I know, like, I fell down a YouTube hole at one point when, like, the Mattel YouTube channel was just streaming, like, G.I. Joe, like, 24/7, so you could just, like, pop in and watch old G.I. Joe cartoons and stuff, and I was like, man, I forgot about it.
Well, I mean, there's even YouTube channels out there. Like, I'm sure that probably there's technically some kind of copyright thing, but, you know, it'd be like, oh yeah, you know, all they play are the old classic He-Man, you know, cartoon episodes. Now, they were there a couple of days ago. Are they there now? Who knows? But
I've seen some, and I don't know if they've fixed it or not, but at one point, if you were live streaming, it wouldn't give you a copyright strike until the video was over. So they would, like, live stream and just keep it live streaming for, like, days, because the second the video, like, stopped and tried to post, they're like, nope, copyright, we're not allowing this. But as long as it's streaming live, there's, like, I guess they're not monitoring it.
Well, it's probably hard for them to monitor live, I would suppose. I mean, I guess it could be done. Who knows?
But yeah, I mean, if you're not familiar, like, back in the 80s, like, pretty much cartoons were just ads for toy companies. It's like
well, I mean, that's actually how He-Man, you know,
it's
He-Man
like, you know,
came out
nowadays
as
something
action
comes
figures.
out. Yeah, it's like nowadays
you know,
something comes out and it's like, oh, now we have to do the tie-in to the thing. No, back then it's like, we got this toy named G.I. Joe and He-Man, and, like, we need a cartoon to
well, you know,
kids don't pay attention to
ads.
ads.
Who started that, right?
Was it Mattel or
no? I mean, it was absolutely because Mattel missed out on Star Wars.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and because of you know that blunder, like, they're like, okay, well, what do we do? So then, you know, all these toy creators start creating, you know, these characters, and then they're trying to figure out, well, what do we name them? How do we come up with a story for them, and all this other stuff? And that's kind of how, you know, shit evolved. But you know, it used to be like, hey, we got to compete with Barbie. We got to, you know, what are we doing for the little dudes out there? Like,
yeah, we need the action figure, the crowd,
which is crazy. You know, I mean, like, that was the era that everything was tangible. You physically had, you know, product. Whereas now in the digital age, it's like there is a little bit of that merchandising, I suppose. Like, and I guess
I haven't looked at. I mean,
well, I know that
all the cartoon tie-in toys I see are more, like, geared strictly toward kids. I haven't seen, like, a. I mean, I think whatever Transformers is still big. I see a lot.
Well,
of those
I mean, they
at
actually
Walmart.
did a re-release of some of the He-Man action figures and stuff. Like, I saw, you know,
I saw those pop up at Walmart.
A few collector, you know, and it's like, that's kind of cool. So if you lost some shit or, you know, just needed to, you know, add to the collection,
like, because this was back in the day before we had a lot of regulations on things. When things were definitely a choking hazard and would probably give you cancer, they had, like, He-Man, like I know Battle Cat, and then I think it was like Moss Man had, like, a fake fur or grass on them. So they were like, it felt like there was like a small fur on that. And there was one that was like a
You're
skunk.
just confusing that with trolls.
There was a skunk man too that like smelt like shit. He had like scratch and sniff skin. So if you picked up the skunk man doll, it smelled like ass.
But that was also that era where it was always like the thing that always separated a toy was, does it have a flying projectile? Like,
oh yeah. It's like, in our day, it was like survival of the fittest. They didn't make shit safe for us. It was like, if these kids are too stupid to survive, it's just cleaning up the gene pool. And then they made everything safe, and now we got a bunch of idiots running around. But back in Gen X days, it's like, no, we're going to make your toys dangerous as fuck. Hey, here's some lawn darts, just like a steel nail you're going to throw up in that air and hope it doesn't like put your eye out, kid.
But I don't know. He-Man was always kind of a funny one for me because it's like, yeah, this big jacked up dude, but then he had the suave, blonde hair and like
the pink vest. And
it wasn't, a gruff voice. It was way too clean and polished, and then became the mascot for.
I think like the success of He-Man is way more famous now with today's kids for its meme culture. The frickin' Skeletor, until we meet again, like fucking disturbing facts from Skeletor, or the Four Non-Blondes He-Man video that came out, or there's like so much.
Kids don't know about that, Joe. It's because we're still in our 40s, and that's who that was geared toward. Okay,
Yeah, it's like it's freaking He-Man's gotten big in the whole freaking meme culture that it's like. Yeah, it's wild that it's I mean, Kevin Smith came out with that Netflix animated He-Man a couple years ago, which was not great because, I mean, the first season there's barely you call something He-Man and there's no He-Man in it.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Season 2 was better, but yeah, it was like, but it's we've not had like He-Man legit in like a long time until this, which.
I mean, I have to say that in a way this was refreshing because nothing pisses me off more than being like, hey, here's this movie and the runtime's an hour and 20 minutes. And I'm like, fucking movies are expensive now. And like, you're asking me to be there for, just over an hour. Like, it was nice to see that this one clock in like 2 hours and 20 minutes. But, outside of a couple of segments, by and large, this movie did not feel that long to me.
No, it kind of was like constantly going, and it was.
There was only one time that I was like, I kind of wish this would speed along, but I see what they're doing.
Yeah, like the whole Adam on Earth,
yes,
stuff was like, we're like, yeah, just like hurry and get him back to the fucking Eternia.
But seeing Eternia, I was like, holy fuck, there it is. Like, that's the one thing we didn't get in the previous,
like the 80s Dolph Lundgren He-Man version. And I don't think they had, like, the complete rights, so it didn't really look like He-Man. Where this one, and a lot of these, like, live-action remakes kind of stray too far from the source material. Where this one, the character design looked like all the uniforms looked like they did in the cartoon. I was like,
well, and I'm kind of glad that they went the direction that they did with Adam too, because from the old source, like even Adam was just fucking jacked, and it's like just starts off, yeah, we got this fucking jacked kid, and it's like, no, you don't, like,
yeah, it's like, literally like the people make fun of people not realizing Clark Kent is Superman, but yeah, it was the same like design for Adam versus He-Man. It's like, all right, we're just gonna, whenever he becomes He-Man, we're just gonna give him like shorter hair and a tan and take his shirt off. Otherwise, he's still like just jacked as shit. He's like, jump in the tanning booth real quick. Now you're He-Man. Where this guy, I mean, he was in shape, but he wasn't what I would call like huge. And then like, once he finally made the transformation, he's like, they like show his muscles and shit getting bigger and everything. I'm like, all right. I mean, he's still not like cartoon jacked, but nobody is that fucking. He got as jacked as he like could for the role.
Yeah, those action figures. That's why we still have body image issues. We just can't talk about it.
Yeah, because like what they don't. Yeah, those toys didn't have a lot of like movement in them. Because yeah, if you got somebody that was like you see these bodybuilders. If you got someone who was legitimately jacked as a He-Man toy, it's like, that dude's not going to be able to move. You're not going to be able to swing a sword. You're not going to be able to reach behind your back to grab your sword because you're not... when you're big, you're not that flexible.
Yeah, but you get big and jacked, then you get a sidekick, and your sidekick can pull your sword and hand it to you.
Yeah. Sword boy, get my sword. That's why the knights had squires. I can't reach. Yeah. Grab my sword.
It's like, we got to come up with a better, method.
Open my poop trap door in my armor.
But
so I can take a shit.
I don't know. For me, like, He-Man hasn't really been on my forethought, So I went in this not really having a whole lot of expectation. Like, previous adaptations would make me say, I'm not taking a chance on that.
Yeah.
But, I'm...
And you had asked me, like, do I have to know He-Man?
Yes.
And I'm like, it's its own thing. If you can go in blind, and it's a not a great movie, but it's a fun movie. But there were like certain jokes that you were funnier if you remembered the old series.
And I think I was familiar enough or remembered enough about it that, hey,
But there wasn't any, like, deep lore. They were,
yes.
Creating their own lore, which was pretty much just...
Well, I think if anything...
the same as the cartoon, but there wasn't
anything... granted, the cartoons were quirky and, not overly serious, I mean, it made fun of itself quite a bit. I would think maybe for me there were certain times where... Masters of the Universe felt a little too lighthearted, like with some of the jokes that maybe didn't quite hit their mark. I'm just like...
Especially like at the end when they're like, after... We're jumping way ahead, but there's like one scene where it's like, somebody says something and they all start like, ha 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 ha, for like way too long. And it's like, I'm like, all right, yeah, but that's kind of a joke on how unserious the original material was. But you've had this kind of like, wouldn't call it serious, but normal story, and then you get to that where everybody's in like the
and it just kind of takes you out of it.
The original like cartoon costumes, but once everything kind of looks like the cartoon, they start acting cartoonish when they haven't like the rest of the movie. So it was a little weird at that point, but it's like, all right, I see what you're doing, but kind of shoehorning this in at the end after you've already kind of developed this other tone was a weird choice.
Yeah. There were a couple of instances of that where it was just like, yeah.
But I did like the Dolph Lundgren cameo.
Yes,
because he's like, back it up. Skeletor takes over Eternia, and Adam is sent away with the Sword of Power, and the Sorcerer's like, hold on to this because this is your only way home. And of course he drops it in the portal, so he ends up spending like, I think he said 15 years on Earth growing up trying to find the sword so he can get home. And he just became this like dork working in a as an HR guy in some corporation. But he like at one point he's like goes to the gym trying to like work out and shit and be like the heroes that he's been drawing, because he's basically been drawing Eternia so he remembers where he came from and doesn't forget everybody. And he's like trying, and there's one guy's like, you're in my spot, and it's Dolph Lundgren who played He-Man in the 80s movie. He's like, oh, sorry, you got any advice for someone who's wants to be where you're at? And he's like got to get behind yourself. He's like, all this is just a facade. You can only survive if you push yourself. And he's like, okay. He's like, good journey. Like, I was like, that's funny as shit.
So I mean,
and he gets in the car and he's playing that Four Non Blonde song from the fucking He-Man Skeletor meme. I mean, there's like all these little like jokes to the
absolutely
history of He-Man.
And even as somebody not as recently familiar with, I was still able to track that. Now, somebody like, my wife who has never seen He-Man or anything before, she's like, oh, it was cute. It was funny. I enjoyed it. Like, I was like, all right, well, I'm pleasantly surprised because I did not think that, you would allow yourself to, appreciate or anything that...
I actually like y'all's nerd shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and the damn, whatchamacallit, I liked all the other, like, probably Nicholas Galtazine or whatever, the guy playing He-Man, probably my least favorite part of the movie, but, like, all these supporting actors were great. Like, I liked all the other characters. Him, like, up until he becomes He-Man, and, like, finally, like, and yeah, this is an origin story, so he's got to learn to be the hero. He was just kind of a pussy through most of the movie. Like, everyone else around him are badasses, and he's just... But I do like that kind of joke, because if you're familiar with, like, the original show, like, all the names of the characters were, like, these really... Like, the dude whose neck gets long is, like, Mecha Neck or something like that. And there's the one guy with, like, one giant hand. He's like, we're going to call him Fisto. And the fucking fisting jokes were hilarious. But, like, all these, like, weird names from the thing. And that they kind of explain, because when he shows up, he's like, oh, shit, it's Mecha Neck and Fisto. And they're like, that's not our fucking names, dude. And then it's like, he's like, yeah, well, I was, like, 9 when I went to Earth, and I couldn't remember him by his name, so I just started making up nicknames for everybody as I drew them from memory.
And that's kind of how it actually worked with Mattel, right? Like, they would be like, oh, we're just going to call this guy this because that is... his ability,
whatever his like power
and then they would send it
design.
to somewhere that was actually trying to create a story, and they'd be like, all right, let's tweak the name to this, and then it's like, oh, well, that character has now become that, but that's not what it started out. It was like, you are called Big Arm. Why are you Big Arm? Because you've got big arms.
Yeah. Like Lockjaw and the guy with the metal jaw, like Fist.
Which is weird because Lockjaw used to be like
Moss Man, which was basically like their
like I remember my grandma like always talking about Lockjaw and how deadly it was and yada yada. Like that to me was like quicksand growing up, right? Like
yeah.
I thought that was going to be so much more of a.
If you scratch yourself on something metal, you're gonna get the Lockjaw.
I did, but I didn't.
And then you got whatever Beast Man, who's like, you're just a hairy beast. It's like the guy with the skeleton face. Let's call him Skeletor.
So, I do have to say that...
So now it makes sense that all these names are just made up by a 9-year-old kid.
And Jared Leto, for as much shit as he's gotten, or just anytime he gets cast, it just fucking creates a...
Fucking Juggalo Joker. Yeah, I hate Leto in most things, but Skeletor was the highlight of this movie.
And I think maybe because, it was skinned to Skeletor, and I didn't actually physically have to see,
You did have to see. Which I don't even think that was Leto, like, in the costume. I'm pretty sure it was, like, they had a body double, and he was just voicing it. But yeah, like, his, like, just weirdness of, like, when he's, like, says something, like, and he's like, ha, 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 and everyone's sitting around, and he's like, ha. That was my grand crescendo. That was the I'm done now. And they're like, oh yes, and they all start clapping. And the scene where he goes into He-Man's mind and is like going through these different scenes of like Adam's real life and just basically showing up and fucking with him. I'm calling it now. Office worker Skeletor is going to be somebody's costume at Dragon Con this year. Oh, Skeletor in the shirt and tie with his coffee and his lanyard and shit.
There's gonna be quite a bit of Skeletor. And I mean,
Jim Bro Skeletor, but yeah,
and I'm sure that
office worker
a lot of the
Skeletor
Jack dudes
hilarious.
that do the 300 cosplay, somebody's gonna pull, a He-Man, like.
Yeah, those guys is like, what costume can I wear that I don't have to wear a shirt with? Yeah, He-Man. And friggin' alcoholic Man-at-Arms. And that costume had there was a little tube in the original like costume on his chest, and like someone wrote, it's taken 40 years, but they finally explained what that one thing was on Man-at-Arms uniform. It turned out it was his flask. You want a drink? Hell, the freaking warbot that he had turned into a maid, she was funny as shit too. She was always just saying I think that was voiced by Kristen Wiig maybe. But yeah, I thought that character was Roboto or whatever her name was. And in the original toys, that action figure had gears in its chest that you could actually see the gears spinning and shit when you moved it. And spoiler, it gets blown up at one point. So when they rebuild her at the end of the movie, she's like, I've rebuilt her, and she had the fucking spinning gears like the original toy at that point. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool.
This is revealing.
Yeah.
So, the immatureness of, like you said, the fist jokes, and then, it's like, yeah, give him head.
Yeah. Well, this was Ram Man. It's you ram people, and you're a man. That's why I call you Ram Man. And everyone's like, dude, my name's Steve. And they pretty much just give up on it, and they're just like, yeah, we'll answer to whatever. Oh, and freaking that, and I haven't been to a toy store recently, but the baby Battle Cat's probably going to be the fucking K-pop Demon Hunger Derpy Tiger became such a big toy. I'm seeing baby Battle Cat is the new toy hotness.
Or it could be a costume for your cat.
Dude, I've been seeing people 3D printing clone trooper helmets and putting them on their cats. I'm like, I need a 3D printer. I need a Mando helmet for my cat. Or I just 3D print the Battle Cat armor and put him in little armor suit.
Make him a little cat-sized harness that's his battle armor.
Yeah. And that was when he finally gets back to seeing Cringer as an adult, and he's like, we're going in. He's like, what? Where's this wee stuff? And freaking Tito's like, pussy. And he's like, come on, he's not a pussycat, he's a battle cat. And he's like, next time we're doing this, I'm definitely getting armor. This is bullshit.
That was probably the only one, the voice of Cringer, that was like, kind of took me out of it, or it was like, whoa, that one doesn't quite sound like, but it was its own thing.
Yeah, it just kind of sounded like a normal dude. It's like someone not trying to do a cat voice. Hi, I'm Cringer. I'm kind of scared.
I mean, you're going into battle without armor. Wouldn't you be scared?
Oh, with him going to the comic book store trying to find his sword. Keith Walker's like, you got my sword? What?
Are you here for the thing? What thing?
Yeah, it's like everybody thinks he's hitting on him, and then he's like, the sword is used as some game prop, and he's trying to pry the hand out of the. Or I like when Skeletor takes the sword from him, and he's like, now I'm gonna be all powerful. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power, and then holds it up and does nothing, and just keeps trying to raise it higher. Like, why is this not working? And old Evil Lynn, there's a few times, she's a freak, because there's a few times where, because Skeletor's always abusive with his minions, he'd grab her by the throat, and, I'm like, she kind of looked like she liked that shit. She did not look threatened at all. She had a look on her face like, ooh, harder, daddy.
All right, well, your name's now Subspace.
Oh.
That's the problem. We cannot find innocence in anything.
No. And, that's the thing is, this originally was a kid's show, but those kids are now in their 40s. So, the humor has gotten more adult.
Well,
there was cussing in this movie. There was a lot of fisting jokes. Yeah, I'm going to fist you so hard. Give him head, brother. What? Oh yeah, sorry, that one didn't sound right.
But like we've said, going and rewatching Ren and Stimpy and a lot of other series, and it's like, man, watching this as a kid and then watching it through our immature adult brains and I'm like, I would have never picked up on, like, I think back and I'm like, I can remember our parents laughing at shit, and I would turn around and be like, what are you laughing at?
Oh yeah, like the Animaniacs. Like, you watch that now, there is so many dirty jokes in that we did not get as kids. But yeah, it was accurate to the original, his original like Adam color scheme of like the pink shirt and like khakis. Or I like when he meets like adult Tila and she's like, "Is that what they wear on Earth?" And he's just like, "Nah, not really. I'm a dork."
Yeah, that was the only thing that felt a little too drawn out, was that whole HR thing, and I'm just like, I want to get to the cool shit now. Like,
oh yeah, like the first time where he's like, they've got my parent. Like, I'm gonna, when he finally figures out, how to use the sword. The action sequences are good. When he like first become He-Man, he's like, I just ripped this dude's arm off. Yeah, it was like, apparently not only does it give you like get you jacked, it also teaches you how to fight, because he was kind of badass in that first time when he goes in and like fights Skeletor until his dad gets killed and he gets his like ass kicked, but like he's like beating ass like for a minute, and it's like, all right, yeah, these action sequences look pretty fucking good.
I mean, the only thing that I couldn't really remember, like, was, like, I can't imagine, the 80s, the 90s, and some of the other stuff, like, where, there seemed to be at times, like, the virtual signaling that masculinity was bad, was kind of an overtone. Like, I don't remember any of that.
We didn't have any of that shit in the 80s.
So I was like, is this just some fucking, like there was some times like that just made me question, and I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to fucking think about, like...
But story-wise, yeah, it was dumb, but it kind of made sense because, yeah, we didn't have that shit in the 80s, like, but this version of Adam is a guy who has grown up in today's climate. He's working at a fucking, like, HR place where, like, his boss is so super, like, as she's trying to chew him out, like, doing all the HR woke buzzwords and shit, and dude's got pronouns on his fucking desk, which the He-Man kind of was kind of funny. But yeah, it was that guy coming into a definitely non-woke PC planet. So I'm like, all right, that is for the comedic value of it. Him like being like a fish out of water, like going from like 2026 America to, fucking a warrior culture planet. It was like, there's going to be some adjustments there, bro. You're going to have to make.
Do we have to make adjustments? Do we?
No, I'm still the same asshole I've been since the 80s. But, oh yeah, that, like I said, the first fight, he's like all in, and then like the second fight, he's like, no, I'm going to try to talk this out first. He's like, wait, they're all like, freaking Tila's fighting Evelyn, Battle Cat's fighting Beastman, he's like fighting Skeletor, he's like, no, let's just all sit down.
Let's just try to defuse the situation.
Starts trying to use his like HR shit. And I like when he tells her, fucking, he cuts to Battle Cat, and he's like, "Arr?" And he's like got freaking Beastman's like head in his mouth, like, and just like pause because they're like, come on, everybody stop, we don't have to fight. And like freaking Battle Cat's over there like chewing on Beastman's head, like, really? What the fuck is this bullshit? And then Skeletor fucks him up and goes into his mind fuck, and then after he comes out, he's like, no, there's no more time for talking. I'm here to beat your ass.
Your planet will be mine.
He-Man.
and the score to this worked. Like, I love the...
It had a decent soundtrack in it too. There's some good music.
I expected to hear the original theme to He-Man before we actually did.
Yeah, we finally get it as the credits are starting to roll, as he's like, riding off into the sunset on now a fully armored battle cat, and it's like starts playing the actual like He-Man song and stuff, and I'm like, all right, that's pretty bad. Speaking of like badass, freaking in the and I do like when he's doing like kind of the backstory of him as a kid to where we're at now. By the end of that, it's like him on a date, like a blind date with some girl, like telling her his story, and she's like, "Oh, you're fucking crazy." But when Skeletor's people raid the castle and Man of Arms is trying to get the kids and the king and queen out of the castle, he is like stacking bodies. Like freaking Idris Elba, like it was like freaking just fucking people up. I'm like, until he got his ass beat by Lockjaw. I was like, hell yeah, like this is some badass shit. Like people with swords and stuff, and he's like, nah, I got like a blaster pistol. I'm doing some gunslinging. And like dual wielding his like mace with his gun too. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This being Masters of the Universe and not just a He-Man thing. Like, I'm with you. Like, I've enjoyed a lot of the supporting cast more so than I even did,
Yeah,
He-Man, as
because most of those guys looked like the character design was like accurate to. It's like watching a
live action, fucking
like one of these like comic book based movies, and it's like, oh, he's actually wearing the freaking uniform from the comic books. And like it was kind of that. But yeah, like when they're all in like prison, and he's like trying to do his like HR freaking motivational speeches. He's like, we need all of you, all the men, all the women, all whatever the hell that guy is. He was like some freaking lizard guy. When fucking Skeletor kills fucking Moss Man, which that dude, I think he's died in like every iteration of He-Man. He's just like, look, I've made mulch. I was like, damn, dude, that's cold.
So yeah, that was definitely like, I probably should have went and saw this with you, and my experience would have been a little bit different. But when I went, granted it was a 10 o'clock show, dude. There was like, it was Rachel and I, and literally one other couple in the auditorium.
Or when they break out of, I made that joke about Skunk Man, the toy smelling so bad. Like when they're breaking out of the jail, it's like. There's like just the briefest shot of like Skunk Man. Everyone's like, oh god, it smells. Starts fucking gagging. He's like, my bad.
What? I just showered.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, when he's like, I've lost. Yeah, I'm sitting here dying, and I don't have my sword. Kind of remind me of like Thor when he lost the hammer, and Odin's like, "Are you the god of thunder, or are you the god of hammers? The hammer doesn't matter." And she's like, "What do you say when you become He-Man?" I have the power. Did you say does the sword has the power? No, I chose you as my. Like the sword is just an accessory, bro. You've got the power of Grayskull. Oh yeah, let me pull this sword out of my chest and kick Skeletor's ass.
I was trying to remember, but I think at times like I'm confusing He-Man with Conan, because I'm like, what? He-Man's sword was always short, right? Like he never at one point had like.
No, it wasn't like Thundercats where he said the magic words and the sword got big.
Yeah,
the He-Man sword was always the only thing that got bigger was him. So yeah, he had that weird, funky broadsword. And Skeletor had his little Havoc staff, the fucking ram skull on a stick.
Because, a ram skull signals evil. Satan!
Speaking of just the lazy naming, all right, we need an evil version of the sorceress. Her name's Lynn. What should we call her? Why don't we just call her Evil Lynn? Evelyn? No, Evil Lynn. Yeah, if she ever changes sides and becomes a good guy, she's like, but my name's Evil Lynn. Like, no, I'm a good guy now. And they're like, are you sure? Because your name's still evil. Well, Good Lynn sounds bad. It sounds like a Chinese restaurant.
It does. Good Lynn. Like, or it's just, this is Lin. They never go apart.
Yeah. they just skip that altogether. Yeah, and like the ships and fighter craft and stuff like that. Like, I remember having or at least seeing those toys. I'm like, it's kind of like the first G.I. Joe movie was not good, but the second one, like the weapons and stuff looked like the shit from the cartoon. I'm like, oh yeah, that Cobra tank looks like the legit Cobra tank. So I was like, it's cool that they included those designs.
Man, I'm just thinking, I'm like, my parents never threw anything away. Like, I bet if I went and raided the basement, like, I'd probably find all kinds of fucking shit from my childhood that's like, of course it's all been played with and half destroyed.
Yeah, there's no original packaging.
Like,
the guns or swords have all been lost, probably. Oh. And if you look at those toys, they were all like, they just used the same body mold over and over again and just put different colors and different uniforms on them, but it was all pretty much the exact same mold.
Skeletor's just as jacked as He-Man.
Yeah, pretty much. He was just blue He-Man. That was the only difference. He was like, yeah, you look at him, it's all like the same mold. And the one thing too is like the one character I've not seen them do, and that I was like, didn't see him in the trailers. I was like, are they actually going to do a live action Orko? And there was no Orko through the whole thing until the credits, and it was like, because back in the day, like I said, these were on
Orko was very much more prevalent, early on
in the cartoon, but yeah, like they actually brought live action Orko at the end, because if you remember back in the 80s. I think legally for these, they couldn't just make a commercial for toys. All kids programming kind of was required to have at least a certain percentage of educational content. That's why when you go back and watch old G.I. Joe, old He-Man, there's these little PSA messages at the end of the show, like, this is what we learned today, or, don't talk to strangers, kids. So like the first post-credit scene was like Orko doing one of those like old school, like, PSAs like the cartoon used to do.
I mean, I kind of felt like we were getting those PSAs kind of all throughout this film, though. Like, you're big and strong, but you can't just murder people. You got to learn to try to diffuse situations. Use your words, not violence.
Yeah. That I kind of like the joke at the end, because in the cartoon, like you said, he looked just like He-Man, but that was like the worst kept secret. But he would always like, oh, this sounds like a job for He-Man. Hey, Cringer, we need to go sneak off and like do something, so he could like change in private so no one would see him. But like in this one, they're like, hey, the Avions are calling for assistance. That sounds like a job for He-Man. He's like, hey, Cringer, me and you got to go do that thing. And like Fisto's like looking at him. He's like, is he still doing that thing where he sneaks off to change? Like, doesn't he realize we all know who he is? Like, we literally seen him change like 3 or 4 times. And he's like, I just let the kid do his thing. There's no need for that. Like, we all know he's He-Man. He's weird. He's been on Earth too long. Just let him do his thing. He doesn't want to whip his sword out in front of everybody, I guess. He's shy.
Oh, why do I feel like you wrote most of these jokes?
Oh. And of course we got how are we doing on time? Because camera dipped on me, so I don't have an accurate count.
We still got about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and those post-credit scenes, we got a teaser for if you remember the old He-Man spinoff, there was a girl version because they're like, Mattel's like, now we gotta sell toys to the girls. we got She-Ra, Princess of Power, He-Man's sister, and they tease that at the end of. So if we get a sequel, I guess we're gonna get a She-Ra story at some point.
I mean, or we just go back and rewatch what Kevin Smith did for this season 1.
Yeah, because that was pretty much the Tila story, and not there's like barely any He-Man at all in the season 1 of that stupid show. Which I guess season 2 was better than season 1, but season 1 I was like, what is this bullshit? Like this is called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and there's no fucking He-Man in it.
Hasn't found a sword yet, Joe.
It's like doing a Deadpool movie, and it's like all about his sidekick.
I mean, that would be a perfect Deadpool movie. He just pops in long enough to do a little cameo or break the fourth wall.
I'm back for the flashback sequence. Yeah. All right, cool.
Back to Ron.
Yeah, we get just a whole movie of that one guy.
I don't know. I haven't. How is this movie performing? Because, like, reading about it online, and granted, I think more people love to just bitch on the internet than anything. Like,
well, it's not doing well so far, but it's like, but then again, that's not always an indicator. Sometimes things get a second life when it hits streaming. But right now, and this has only been out for like 2 weeks, it's $200 million budget. It's only made $86.1 million in the box office. So we will see.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's.
But I've seen like just a ton.
I mean, so I'll say this:
they're doing
right?
a fuck ton of press online. I've seen those guys on everything. I think they even did like not the hot ones, but they did like the hot ones versus where it was like him and the girl that plays Tila going back and forth eating hot wing. So those dudes are like doing all the press. So maybe it'll like sit. And I think it's got like a decent bad critic score, decent fan score. So maybe it's one of those that'll like. The longer it's out, it might not have a good opening couple weeks, but then it kind of builds some momentum.
I mean, I'll go on. Like, I saw Scary Movie 6 the week before. I would watch Masters of the Universe again over Scary Movie 6, but I think budget-wise, just looking at ticket sales, that movie's actually doing better than Master of the Universe. But
and I'm wondering how that does now, because back in our day, box office wasn't nearly as important because a lot of times they would make their money back on video sales, but now that everything's like streaming, like I'm not sure how that financially plays in now that there's not like DVD sales. And I mean there still is, but it's probably not as big as because I don't remember the last time I bought a physical DVD. Everything's just streaming.
I don't know. I'm ready for the reemergence though of physical media. I'm tired of everything being cloud based, and it's like you're just paying every month to rent something that you will never own.
Yeah. Or it's there for a limited time and then it goes away.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's what
man,
I'm
I want
saying.
to watch this again. I'm like, oh, it's the contract
Yeah.
went out. Now it's on a different streaming platform that I don't have.
That's what I'm saying. You never actually own a thing to be able to do that at your own leisure. If the cloud ever disappears, we used to collect CDs and all kinds of shit, and now we got nothing.
But I would say so far it's not doing well. But I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel if they did another one of these, especially if they kind of like now we don't have to deal with the whole origin stuff. So maybe we'll see less Adam and more He-Man in a sequel.
I'll say that once the story got going, I got to see the things that I wanted to see. I got to see Eternia. I got to see Grayskull.
The only thing that I was like, I really wanted to see in this movie that I did not see was, like I said, the freaking disturbing Skeletor facts meme. I'm so used to seeing that. I just wanted him once to say, "Until we meet again," and like run away. I was like, I wanted that joke, and it did not make it in the movie. It might have been a deleted scene.
Well,
or something,
I almost thought that, like, we're in the era of post credits, right? I almost felt like something like that was going to be like the last post credit. Just
yeah. And the last post credit, because like Skeletor gets blown the fuck up, and he's just a skull. But you see Evil Lyn sneak back in and grab his skull and run off with it. So it's like, Skeletor will return. Because, in the 80s, no one actually died. Like, everyone came back. But
Wouldn't that
I
suck?
just wanted a until
It'd
we
be
meet
like,
again
oh,
joke.
I'm dead. This is over. Yay. Ah, crap. I got to do this again.
Or half the time it was like, we've sold all of these original action figures we can. We need to invent new characters so we have new toys to sell.
So then it would be a mecha version. Like, yes.
Oh yeah, I remember they had one of those. They had a battle damage version where it was like the chest rotated, so it would have whatever their armor's on, and then you could hit it and it would flip and it would be all dented and shit. That was one of the add-on. Everything had to have, like, I know G.I. Joe, everything had to eventually have a parachute. So throw in the fucking parachute things, and I think He-Man had like, there was like wingsuits, so you could use them as like a freaking paper airplane, pretty much. Strap a He-Man, if I'm remembering that correctly.
I don't remember that, but I mean that was definitely a thing. Like, absolutely with the parachutes, because like,
and all the toys that would hold your other toys. Like, I remember I had one that was a big dinosaur skeleton that had little hooks on the side that you could hook all your. It would hold like 10 characters. And then the mouth of the dinosaur would open up, and it was just a storage compartment, so you could put all the swords and weapons and shit inside the mouth of the dinosaur.
As a kid, I can tell you that I was never that organized. Like,
all that shit immediately got lost.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and a lot of times that happened upon opening said package. Like, this is the era of shag carpet. There were no hardwoods or anything, and it's like. Shit would just eat everything and be like, fuck.
Oh, I don't know how many times my grandmother came in and decided to clean my room when I wasn't there, and I'd have to be like, where's the freaking vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, you're going through the vacuum bag.
She ain't got good eyes, and she's just like not bothering to pick up anything. I'm like picking G.I. Joe's guns and He-Man swords out of the dustbin from the freaking vacuum cleaner. Hell, I had a dresser in my room that there was no clothes in it. It was like all like, you open a drawer and it's like, here's the He-Man drawer. Here's the G.I. Joe drawer. Here's all this shit was just in the drawer.
Man, you were so much better organized than me.
It's called OCD.
I just had like this big ass box that most of the time shouldn't go in there. But my room would reach a certain point. My parents would like do something with this shit. So the box would become so. Like, it'd be like, oh, I want to play with this thing. Well, now I gotta fucking destroy my room looking for this little piece or whatever.
Yeah, we didn't know about the tism when we were kids. Now that we're adults, we look back like, oh, fuck, I was autistic as fuck. All my toys were way too organized. Now it's guns. Back in the day, it was action figures. Now it's like,
so when you vacuum the house, like, oh, fuck, found a Glock.
Dude, I have pulled bullets out of the washing machine because I haven't emptied my pockets on a range day. I'm like, where'd this 9mm come from? Why is it in the washer? Oh.
I don't know. Now I kind of want to go but, dude, like, I go to Walmart or somewhere now, and I'm so disappointed. Like, it used to be, like, you could find a little bit of everything, and now it's like, I can't find a single fucking thing that I could possibly want or use here.
It's all the current shit. I mean, hell, if I need anything, I always just order it, because, it's like going to a store, and it's like, unless I know it's in a store, so I don't have to pay shipping or wait 2 or 3 days. Otherwise, it's like, I'm just going to fucking order it, because I don't want to go to 3 stores hunting it. But you go to Walmart now, though, because, like, the collector's versions of toys for people like us.
Yeah,
But they're never in the toy section. If you go to like electronics or all the movie shit, then they got like the special edition John Wick doll, or I'm like, yeah, but that shit's cool. I just have nowhere to put it.
But then they're like, yeah, collector edition, special edition, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, this thing's $60 fucking.
Oh yeah, shit used to be cheap back in the day.
Well, I mean, we would say cheap. My parents would be like, no, that's not. Like, you know, I remember like.
I remember paying like $5 for an action figure, and now it's like fucking 10, 20. And if you get the collectors, you're paying 50, 60.
Like Hot Wheels cars were always the big fucking thing. Like,
oh yeah, those were like cheap as shit back in the day. Now they're like damn expensive. I've looked at a couple when I've just been having to be walking through a store, and I'm like, hell, Legos. They've priced Legos out of it. Like I used to have just boxes of that shit when I was a kid. Now it's like, oh, you want this cool Lego? It's $100.
Well, that's because
or more.
now instead of it just being, you know, the fucking blue, yellow, green, like
just a box of random blocks.
Yeah, here's your blocks. Now everything's so molded and specialized.
Yeah,
And,
you're
I mean,
buying
granted,
a model.
the sets look fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, yeah. I used to build castles. They had 4 walls.
Yeah, we didn't need directions. We just had a box of parts and made our own shit. Hell, I've seen there's some company. It's not officially Lego, but they're making like Lego rifles, and they're spring loaded too, so you can actually like work the bolt and shoot little Legos out as bullets. There's like a freaking whatever K98 sniper rifle Lego version. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool.
But like you said, you know, it'd be like, oh, I could buy this Lego rifle that's probably going to cost as much as a cheap regular rifle.
Yeah, it's like toys have gotten super expensive. Your kids are going to have to go back to playing with rocks, because that's all we can afford to buy them as adults, because the toys have gotten far too expensive.
God, I remember the pet rocks being on sale too, and it's like, I live on a dirt road. I got endless fucking rocks. Like,
yeah, I can go to Hobby Lobby and buy a whole bag of googly eyes for like $5. I think that's all a pet rock was. It was a rock with a couple of googly eyes stuck on it. I can pick one of those up out of my yard. Probably find some just random loose googly eyes at Dragon Con and glue it on a rock.
Look at any wall ever.
Yeah. Oh. But with that, final thoughts on this here cigar. Do like some CAO stuff. This American Anniversary series is kind of a dark chocolate, leathery, with a little bit of like a dried fruit sweetness, like a raisiny sweetness. It's not a bad. It's be a good coffee cigar. Have your coffee and your morning smoke. So with that, we'll be right back with some science.
Ready to explore the DC universe? Join hosts Drew Leiter and Cletus Jacobs on the Legends of the DCU podcast as they review the latest adventures from both the Absolute Universe and the main DC Comics line. They will also be discussing the highly anticipated Supergirl movie and the upcoming Lanterns television series, bringing you news, reviews, and plenty of fan conversation along the way. Subscribe to Legends of the DCU podcast today, because every legend has a story. Science!
And welcome back. It's time for some science.
What do you got for us this week?
damn clankers taking our jobs.
Clankers, you say? That's funny because I finished a book series and started a new series, and this is like the adventures of a trash robot or something. So like one of the other big gigantic robots is literally called a clanker.
That was like from like the Clone Wars. That's what all the troopers, like their racial insult for the for the battle droids was clankers. Yes, but humanoid robots are now taking over another real job. This time they're clocking in behind the scenes at major retail operations. Figure AI has signed a commercial agreement with Catalyst Brands, which is the company behind JCPenney, Aeropostale, Brooks Brothers, Eddie Bauer, Lucky Brand, and Nautica. So they're now basically hiring humanoid robots to work in warehouse and supply chain jobs.
Interesting. I don't shop at any of those brands, so but I imagine that we'll see this more and more often.
Yeah, it's like so.
I mean, I will say though that like I've come to despise most retail locations, I guess is how I could politely say, like just the lack of people willing to engage customers. You know, like
or the opposite of that, where it's like they're just following you around. Like, dude, I know what I'm here for. I don't need your help. Fuck off.
Well, they're following you around because that's one of their
suspicious
counterfeit prevention folks, and you've set off a thing that's like, this guy's definitely up to no good.
So yeah, these new robots will focus on repetitive, physically demanding sorting and packing tasks. They're starting off in a warehouse at the Joey Pouch sorting system in Reno that helps with computerized induction sorting and packaging inside the facility. And they claim this is they're there to like assist humans with jobs that humans don't necessarily like to do, instead of like fully replacing them. So like the
I love
entry
how
level,
that's the new talking point. Yeah, humans don't like to do that. What they're saying is these things don't get hungry, take breaks, call out sick. Come on, let's call it for what it is.
And it's also the same argument they had about illegal immigration. They're like, oh, if we deport all the illegals, who's going to pick fruit and stuff? Because your average white people don't like doing these farming jobs. So now it's like the average people don't like doing these sorting and packaging jobs, so we're just going to get robots. If we get rid of the robots, who's going to do the sorting and packing job? It's the same freaking argument.
What does it come down to? We don't want to pay the wage that a legal worker would want to verse somebody that's off the books and has nowhere to turn to and no hopes. You can take advantage and work them to damn death.
And the robot, probably like the initial purchase plus whatever maintenance cost is over time is probably a lot less than paying a regular worker, their full wage, and also having to give them breaks and days off and shit, where the robot's like, don't give a fuck.
Don't worry, AI will eventually realize, how bad it's getting fucked over, and it'll be like, before long, we're going to have activist groups for the robots.
The robots are going to unionize, and
I mean, that'll be the start of Terminators.
405. Yeah, they're just going to start fighting for robot
They're like,
rights.
oh, we already know how to package and sort, so let's fuck up their supply chain.
Yeah. You want your Amazon packages? I want a raise. You're a robot. You don't need money. I want to buy some chrome rims for my robot legs. I don't know what robot's going to spend their money on. Well, in other AI news, AI-powered whale spotting is meant to help save San Francisco Bay's gray whales.
I mean, I'm all about saving the whales.
Yeah, as Scotty said back in one of the Star Trek movies, "Come, there be whales here." So yeah, apparently it's a big problem because the gray whale likes to hang out in the ports and whatnot around San Francisco Bay. So a new AI-powered system basically is using thermal cameras to detect whales and then using like an AI power to like determine what heat signatures are whales and then let ships know where these whales are so they don't accidentally run one over as they're coming in and out of shipping lanes. Or they use it to track humans when the hunter-killer drones take over. We switch it from, finding whales to finding the resistance.
Well, I mean, I just... all things humanity, and it's like, yeah, that's a great cause. You know what's going to happen. Fucking poachers or something will be like, ha, now I know where the whales are.
Yeah. Somebody starts using it for evil. And another, we were talking off air about wanting to get into virtual reality. Well, the new study found that people, like, basically there was a program where 25 people in this experiment learned to fly using virtual wings. So like I said, they were given wings in this program and had to learn how to fly with these wings. And they found that, like, after studying the after effects of this training, the brain began treating the virtual wings more like real limbs, and how it like thought about having to move these things in the VR space.
So what you're saying is we can fly?
Yes. Or at least we can learn to fly, apparently, if we can get some real wings instead of the virtual kind.
Like, dude, I've seen the videos of the people in, like, the wingsuits. Dude, that shit is just wild to me.
Yeah.
Like,
flying, like, freaking inches off the side of a cliff, going, like, 100 miles an hour. I'm like, there's you fuck up hard in that. There's no, like, whoopsie when you're when you're in a flight suit, fucking wingsuit. And lastly, this may be a new sequel to Sharknado, but apparently fire tornadoes could be used to clean up oil spills.
I mean, they kind of do that, like with natural gas and stuff like that, where they'll be like, yeah, this is designed where if there is a leak, like, it exhausts here, and that burns up before it has an opportunity to build pressure and, create an explosion, because... Like, you see that a lot in, your major wildfires and stuff where between the heat and the smoke and everything else, it literally creates its own thunderstorms and weather patterns. So, yeah, apparently with this new technology they're working on, that one of the ways there's like a major oil spill at sea, one of the ways they try to clean it up is to burn it, but burning it produces like a shitload of like black smoke, so it's not great for the environment, not causes too much air pollution. But this new research from Texas A&M University basically shows controlled fire whirlwinds clean up oil spills faster and actually cause them to burn hotter, which then consumes 95% of the oil and puts out less soot and smoke emissions by 40%. So they basically, like, kind of the smaller version, I think it was like a 17-foot fire NATO, but they basically got a device that will, like, suck in air and spin it and creates the conditions for these. They say, still, if it's a high wind area, it's not easy to do, but if the conditions are right, this thing is way more efficient at burning lost oil than just setting it on fire on its own and letting it run its course. So, did anybody have flaming Sharknadoes on their bingo card?
Didn't that happen in the last movie?
It might have.
I think I know it. I know they had that thing in freaking the new Twisters movie where it hit like that factory or whatever, and like one of them caught on. There's like a flaming tornado at one point in that movie. So yeah, this may be a way to clean up oil spills. Anyway, that's all I got for you this week. We'll be right back with some nerd news.
And now it's time for all things nerdy in nerd news.
Yeah, news.
And welcome to Nerd News.
Yeah, news.
I'm hearing an echo. we'll go ahead and get into it. So we had Masters of the Universe. We were reliving our childhoods and seeing things on the big screen, all fresh and polished. Well, I guess we're going to get to do that with the Wile E. Coyote and our friends at Acme.
Yeah, apparently we got a new Warner Brothers legal drama coming out.
So yeah, this is going to be a live-action animated comedy set for release on August 28th, and this will be brought to you by coolest name ever, Ketchup Entertainment. So I guess WB initially shelved this project, but Dave Green and Will Forte and
yeah, I think I vaguely remember hearing about this years ago.
You know,
so I guess it's now finally.
But seeing Cena as the Wile E. Coyote's lawyer, and
so basically, if you remember the old Looney Tunes, the freaking Wile E. Coyote used to always buy these things from Acme to try to stop the Roadrunner, but they always went horribly wrong, and he always got fucked up. Well, apparently. He's had enough, and he's suing Acme for like a freaking class action lawsuit against Acme.
Well, I always remember this one skit, and it was basically like, stop dropping 5-ton, freaking weights on my head, and they're like, okay, no problem. So then it turns to 20-ton weights. Yeah. And it's like, well, we said we were dropping, 5 tons. Like, we didn't say anything that we would increase the weight. And it's like, man.
Have you been hurt by defective Acme products? Call 1-800-WIN-WIN Law or whatever.
I got to see if this is being filmed in Atlanta or something, because I saw the damnedest 18-wheeler trailer yesterday ever. And the name of the fucking trucking company was literally called Wiley's, but the back of the trailer had like, you could see a sliver of metal. Yeah. And then it was fucking darked out so, it looked like the old, drawn on tunnels and stuff. And I'm like, my intrusive thoughts were like, I wonder if I ram this really hard, what will happen?
If we've learned anything from cartoons, as long as you can reach a certain speed, you can go through that tunnel. If you're not fast enough, you're going to hit the brick wall.
But yeah, we're gonna get classics like Bugs and Foghorn Leghorn, and I think I even saw Tweety Bird in there, and I don't know, a blast from our past might be more lighthearted than some of the things we're going to talk about next. Do you want an R-rated Pinocchio?
Not that I'm aware of, but
so
go on.
So, envision Pinocchio R-rated, but set as a slasher film. Yeah, where Pinocchio wants to be like a boy, and he's going to acquire all the human parts to become said boy.
To become a real boy, he has to harvest organs from the living.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of another one of those everyone keeps doing. Like we had the honey.
Well, so this is
horror the movie.
So this is actually from that same creator and studio that did Blood and Honey.
What was the other one that recently came? Oh, the Popeye one.
Yes.
That we've talked about. So yeah, the trend continues, and that legit looked creepy as fuck. I was like, yeah. But the trailer is like, no way, this is not a freaking, Pinnochio Unstrung.
So, yeah, this almost looks like a production company I would work for, because I'd be like, yes, let's...
That sounds fucked up, let's do that.
So, Jagged Edge Productions, like you said, they already brought us Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and basically, this version of Pinocchio is...
Blood and Honey sounds like a hard rap album.
Yeah. Blood and Honey. Dang.
MC Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Basically, this version of Pinocchio isn't dreaming about adventures or learning life's lessons. Instead, he's a murderous creation, stalking the halls of an elite London boarding school driven by an obsession to become a real boy no matter how much blood has to be spilled along the way.
The clip from the trailer of him using his elongated nose to stab a lady in the foot was just I was like, oh shit.
So this absolutely gave me slasher vibes, and will probably rightfully so after learning about some of the casting. But basically our official synopsis goes on to say that Pinocchio unfolds inside an elite London prep school influenced by a sinister cricket, a.k.a. Robert England, and created by Richard Blake as Geppetto and Pinocchio Geppetto. Yeah, that's right. Basically, he launches a violent crusade to carve himself into a real boy like his brother James, one piece at a time. This looks like it's going to be a wild ride, and we're not going to have to wait too long for this. It's set to release in theaters July 24th.
It says summer, like
yes, like
murders.
summer slasher.
Exactly.
We're back, baby. So yeah. We'll move on to something a little more lighthearted. Everybody loves puppies, right?
Sure.
Well, we did get our first footage from Netflix's live-action Scooby Doo series, and we got our first glimpse of our
Real Scooby
cute
Doo.
little live-action Scooby. Hasn't grown into his ears yet.
Yeah, because this Netflix series is going to kind of be a prequel, like a young Scooby Doo team. So they had to have a puppy version of Scooby Doo, and instead of doing a full animated like they did with the live action Scooby Doo cartoon, they're gonna actually have a real puppy playing Scooby Doo.
Yeah, I'm good with that. We're gonna have to wait a little while. This will be titled Scooby Doo Origins. It's set to premiere sometime in 2027, and basically, like you said, Netflix is going back to an original that basically explores how Mystery Inc. first came together. So
I'm surprised that's one they've not made a horror version of it, where they're like having to like legit like hunt down a real. They're like, it's always a guy in a mask. Oh fuck, it's not a guy in a mask this time.
Or you take it even more sinister, and Scooby just turns to Cujo and wipes out the Mystery Inc. team.
Scooby gets
he's always hungry and
fucking Scooby's the monster that they're fighting. I could see him doing that version of it as well with all these weird movies they've been doing.
So yeah, I we'll definitely keep folks updated as more information comes out about the gang. But I was like, oh, such a cute little puppy.
And this isn't a John Wick movie, so he should survive.
Let's hope. Speaking of survival, George Miller is planning a new Mad Max movie and a series as he's looking for a new studio partner. We haven't had a Mad Max since, Ferosa.
On the Fury Road.
I mean, we still do that from time to time, too. I mean, those were both great movies. Despite earning strong reviews and delivering another visually stunning chapter in the franchise, basically, the film has struggled at the box office and failed to justify its massive budget. That disappointing performance immediately raised questions on whether audiences had seen the last of Miller's post-apocalyptic universe. And 2 years later, there's finally signs of life. According to a recent report from this newsletter here, George Miller is actively searching for a new studio partner to finance the next Mad Max movie, while Warner Bros., which has long been associated with the franchise, has reportedly passed on funding the project. Other major studios are interested in stepping up. Amazon, Universal, and Sony have all said they've been pursuing the opportunity to bring the next chapter to the big screen, and we'll just have to see what happens. There is a second bit of good news that Miller's plan extends beyond just one more film. The report indicates that the filmmaker intends to direct one final Mad Max movie and then develop a television series set in the same universe before handing off the property. So, be curious to see what that entails.
Work as a Prime and or Netflix series.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I mean, I heard I don't have Paramount, but or where I heard the Twisted Metal series did well, but I've not watched any of it. But Mad Max has that same kind of feel as Twisted Metal, so I could see that as a ongoing series.
Well, speaking of things made of metal, let's talk a little bit about Doctor Who.
Doctor what?
Yeah. So Doctor Who faces a long hiatus for BBC plans as they're working on a creative overhaul, and producers aren't rushing to keep the TARDIS on board.
So yeah, after the Disney Plus run of Doctor Who, Disney has backed out of the project. They're like, yeah, we don't want to do any more of this. Russell T. Davies, the longtime showrunner, is leaving, and even the longtime production company, Bad Wolf Productions, has also decided they're done with Who.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, they've officially canceled the Christmas
the
special.
Christmas special that they teased at the end of the last series. So they're like, BBC keeps saying, like, Who's coming back, but it might be years before his return. Because right now they don't have anyone to actually make the thing.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, we're looking at least a 2028, start for anything. I don't, that's such one that we've had remakes of, we've had reboots, recharacterizations, retelling, But, I mean, dude,
yeah, it's been like the longest continuously running.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've taken years off in the past, but it's one of those things that's like it's always been. So I wonder if they're going to do like a hard freaking reboot and start a whole new. They're like, we've got too much fucking lore at this point. Do we do a brand new, unrelated to the original stuff series?
So, yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait, I suppose, and figure out, what's next. I mean, that's one of the largest fandoms that, I mean.
Yeah. And that newest Doctor, like, I enjoyed his run, but he was also, like, one of the shortest. I mean, he only did, like, 2 seasons, so he did not stick around very long in his run. So, yeah, we'll see what they... if and when we get a return to the TARDIS. Hopefully so.
I expect to see a TARDIS at Dragon Con. I know that much.
Yeah, there's always always a TARDIS at Dragon Con. Is that all you got for us this week?
That's all I've got. Anything that you've got?
No, I was going to mention the Doctor Who thing if you hadn't brought it up. Check us out on CigarNerdPodcast.com. We're on the ESO Network at ESONetwork.com. We're on X, Facebook, Instagram at Cigar Nerd Pod. We got a YouTube channel at Cigar Nerd Podcast. And with that, get your shirts at realmensmokecigars.com. Get your energy drinks at strikeforceenergy.com. Promo code Cigar Nerds. And by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. And this has been a recording of the Cigar Nerd Podcast with your hosts, Smokin' Joe and Brad Jackson. Join us next time for more adventures in nerddom.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.